Guys, just let me know if you can hear me. Before I continue, let me know if you guys can hear me. Does yay mean yes? There we go. Right, guys, this is episode 1 of the Formula 7 podcast, the first ever. We have B Right as the co-host alongside us, but we do have the enthusiastic, the Ascendator alongside us. And let me see if he can hear me. There he is, Paddy Pat. Guys, let me know if you can hear Paddy Pat.
How is it going, everyone? How is it going?
What's going on, guys?
How's it going, man? It's good. I'm excited.
Yeah, so am I. I'm just making sure that everybody can hear you. I'm just waiting for guys in the chat to make sure that they can hear you as well.
As an Alpine ambassador, I think I might have to do this in French. Is that okay, everyone?
Yeah, I'd love to hear you French.
Oui.
Yeah, that's the only thing I can say. It's bonjour. That's about it. That's the only thing
bonjour,
I learned.
Oui. Je m'appelle
Nathan. Yeah, we all learn the same things. So, Paddy, the first ever podcast. How are you feeling?
Yeah, I mean, I've always wanted to do a podcast. So when you guys invited me along, I'm thinking, boom, want to join that. So yeah, excited for this little chinwag between bros.
I know, yeah, I'm looking forward to it, to be honest, mate. Just have a relax, a chill, talk about it.
I see already people are asking who's on the shirt. Well, we'll come to that later, guys. We'll come to that later.
He's already informed us who's on the shirt.
We'll come to it later.
Yeah. So, Paddy, straight into it. Obviously, you are huge at the moment, sort of on TikTok, and you've got your Alpine content creator title and everything. How's that come about?
Well, working hard, I guess. Working hard, committing myself to what I wanted to do. And obviously, I think when I first started, going from, in the bedroom in a 80 quid little rig and a G29 with a laptop alongside me with a little crappy capture card that kept failing to then slowly going up the setups and the different setups that I have along the way. But yeah, I mean, it come about by just working hard and having a goal. The main thing was, I remember when I first joined when I first started streaming properly, and I was like, do you know what? I'm going to be signed by a Formula One team. Yeah. That was straight up. And I remember people laughing at me. I think it was a league that was, I won't mention the name, but it was a league, my first league that I went in. And they were all laughing at me with my little one viewer, my 2 viewers, and then it got to 3 viewers, and then I figured out there's a little trick up with it. If I had my wife and my son watch me, that's at least 2.
Well, there you go.
Do you know what I mean?
So you always had 2.
So I had 2, and then I put another link up for myself. So I always had 2. No, it's just hard work and believing in what I wanted to achieve, and that's it. That's pretty much the basics of how where I am now. Is just dedication, hard work, and believe in your goal no matter what people say or laugh at you. That's the key. I mean, I'm quite an eccentric, outgoing, sometimes controversial guy, so I get a lot of stick anyway, but I don't care. I just keep
controversial. I don't know what you mean. I don't know what they're going on about.
I've been pre-warned what I can and can't say already. I'm joking.
You said you started off with the G29. I still race on controller. I've got the G29. It's all right for sort of starting off, but then you've got to sort of elevate to the next level, haven't you, really?
Well, they say it makes you faster, but it bloody well doesn't. It doesn't make you faster.
Case.
I remember, first dig, 1-0. First dig, 1-0. Yeah. Ooh, that hit me hard.
This is how we're starting, mate.
Hey, all right, I'm not B right, am I? I mean, B right's the man, isn't he?
Nobody's B right.
Bloody hell. But no, to be fair, when I got the 2020 game, if anyone that is on a G923, the force feedback from the F1 2020 game is amazing from the G20 to G923. It really felt amazing. and then obviously I upgraded to the wheel, but it doesn't make it fast. If anything, it makes you slower and makes you more like, well, you more of a gym session, because it really is a big step up. And when I mean big step up, I mean like you're going for something that's casual, that you're getting a bit of immersive feel about it, and it makes you feel within the game and stuff. But as soon as you go to, you know, a Simmercube, an Azatec, or any a DD wheel, basically, or Fanatec or Simmercube, you know, as soon as you go up that level, you're then professional level, and like, you know, you can't use it as a toy then, and it will hurt you. I mean, there's a couple of clips where I've had close calls where it's knocked my chin, where it's ripped my fingers apart nearly. But yeah, no, it doesn't make faster. Although I have heard that pedals make it faster. And I don't know if anyone's in chat that has load cell pedals, but apparently expensive pedals make you faster. That's what I've heard.
Well, I've heard, because I still run automatic gears, even on controller. I've tried manual, and it must be quite similar, because everybody always says to me, if you go manual, you'll find another half a second at least. Yeah.
Well, I didn't have any assist from the start. So I don't know. I mean, I started without anything, and just, I mean, why would you, like, if you're gonna, for me, it was like, if you're gonna do this, like, you want to feel as real as you can get. Like, you know, whatever your racing game you play, you want to feel that you're the closest thing to the real thing, right? So you wouldn't want any assists. You don't have any assists on racing, so why would you put them on? That's my feeling on it. But, you know, I like the way that the games do add this in, because it just means that all ages and all attributes can play it, and it makes it a lot better for like people with disabilities as well. I mean, I know Alpine they're partnered with a charity that basically mold gaming setups for people that are disabled, and obviously they need the assist, and it's fantastic that anyone can play these sort of racing games.
Yeah, that is good. Talking about that as well, when you were saying the way you sort of started off there as well with the G29. When you first joined, I remember you joining F7, must have been 18 months ago, and you weren't streaming at that point. What was the sort of ignition to sort of say, I want to start streaming?
Well, no, I actually was streaming when I joined F7, I believe, because the first league I joined was APPF1, and this all goes back to how I started streaming. Which is really, like, a lot of people that obviously we had the lockdown. Sorry to mention it in a podcast, but we had the lockdown. You know, obviously I was self-employed. We got a little bit of money behind us for having the shop closed and stuff for my business. So I thought, bugger it. I'll, well, actually it comes before that. My brother, Jordan, he was a streamer, and I was watching him, and he had the Formula 1. I didn't even know there was a Formula 1 game. Like, I was like, what? You can play Formula 1? This is a Formula 1 fan for years. And I didn't even know there was a Formula 1 game. And then he's like, yeah, I've been streaming. I'm like, what's streaming? This is it. Like, what's streaming? And I watched him, and I'm like, dude. And like, my brother had like 100 followers, and he'd been doing it for 3 months, and he had like 100 followers, and he'd have about 5 people watching him. And I was like, mate, that looks wicked. That's like right up my street, like, you know, with the energy that I have, and like, I was just inspired, and just like, so like, I need to do this. And so I got the Formula 1 game, and we set it all up and stuff, and I absolutely loved it. And then it just went from there to where I am now. And you know, I remember my brother saying, you know, Twitch is really hard. Like, you know, it took me 3 months to get 100 followers, and you know, to get affiliated. And I was,
Do you tell him you're nearly on 10,000 now?
Well, I had 1,000 followers in a month, so it was. Well, I thought I cracked the code. Like, if anyone actually wants a little trick in the trade, right? I'll tell you the first thing that I did, right, was I was thinking, like, how do I get these followers? How do I do this? Like, and I was like, well, perfect. Like, there was these leagues all over Discord, which I didn't even know what Discord was, that wanted commentators. And like yourself, you enjoy commentating. I enjoyed it. And I ended up doing 7 days a week commentating for leagues. And when you're first starting as a streamer, You know, you need to get affiliate, you need to get out there, you need to get your personality out there, right?
Yeah.
So what better way to be join 7 different leagues with 20 drivers in each league that you're commentating on, and then you're making sure that the only way you're going to commentate is if the people have the stream on their phone beside you, and that kind of like, and that was it. That was my. I didn't want paying or anything like that. I just meant the guys that are racing need to have the stream alongside of it, and then it grew from there. And then obviously people started to get to know my personality and wanted to race with me. And obviously I have very lucky to have a setup that a lot of people don't have.
Yeah.
So it was, you know, racing with that and having questions. And it just went from there, and that's where we are.
We've done commentary together as well, which was pretty good.
Yeah. No, I think when it comes to commentary, you've got to have, it's like when you watch the real Formula One, you have your informative commentator, and then you have me or you,
the enthusiastic one.
You know. I think obviously with me and you, we're very similar when we were commentated. Whereas I do commentating at the minute with TK, very good commentator, and he's very much the Martin Brundle.
Yeah,
and I'm very much.
Oh yeah, you're definitely right. You have to have
excited.
that balance, especially when you do commentary. You need somebody to sort of be that straight head, be that talkative one, know the ins and outs, and then you need the one where the action's happening to just go absolutely berserk, because that's what people love to see when you go in screaming because they've made a good overtake. Because I always said this when. Sometimes I'll watch a league and I'll see somebody commentating, and somebody will be making an overtake and they'll say, and he's gone round him into turn one, and I'm sitting there at my phone thinking, he's gone into the back of him, DRS round the turn one, you know. And you've just got to have that enthusiasm, and especially when you're doing it 7 days a week.
Yeah, I mean, I lost my voice, and then it was too much for me. And then I realized that, you know, it took a while to transition, but not a lot. And then I kind of cut it right down to like 2 days. And then obviously I'm not commentating, and now I miss it. So I do it on a Monday.
Is it Tuatara, the league?
The Tuatara Championship, yes.
Is that your championship?
That's kind of my, it's completely supported by Tuatara, but obviously I run it with a team, and it's a different way of doing things. But like going back to the commentary, that was how I ended up being where I am, like the dedication for that. And I think, you know, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but you know, the commentary and these guys that are racing, if you have a good commentator in a league, it makes the league. Yeah. Like, do you know what I mean? Like the guys, not just about the speech, but actually being able to, like, you know, get onto always be looking at the gaps, and always know when the straights are coming up to try and catch every moment you can. Because, you know, that is something else that you don't hear about. Is it's all right having a really good, but you need to be able to switch to the next guy and keep an eye on what's going on, and that really does make a league. So because I was pretty good at that, that's how it happened, really.
Yeah, and you sort of catch him when the camera angles when you're going for an overtake and you're getting it onto the broadcast, and you can see the driver behind, sort of a tenth behind, the driver in seventh, and you're flicking straight back to them because you know the overtake's going to come. It's not just about shouting down the mic.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so that's how it all started. Cheers.
Is that a beer?
It's water. It's so damn hot.
I swear, I was this close to cracking open a can as we started the podcast.
One day, I will be out of this cupboard and we'll expand ourselves, triple monitor and everything. But for now, it's Paddy Pat cupboard under the stairs.
Patty, do you still? Because I've seen some of your videos. You used to be a barber. Is that something that you've completely left behind now?
Well, yeah, I completely left that. I've done it for a long, long time, bro. I've done it for a long time, and you know, like life has a funny way of putting things in your way, funny ways of putting doors in front of you. If you're brave enough, you pick the right door or whatever. And you know, after doing it for a long, long time, it was like my bread and butter. You know, once you've got a trade, you're never going to be without that. So, you know, all these youngsters that, you know, want to be a streamer and stuff like that, you know, it's great. But I'm a big believer in always having a plan B and having a backup. And like, you know, I worked hard. I followed the family trade. I learned the trade, and, you know, I became a bit of an entrepreneur when I was younger. But no, you know, and then, you know, like a lot of people know on my stream, you know, life hits. I'm not perfect. I had I had a bit of mental health illness, and I lost everything. I went from 3 shops, 12 staff, to absolutely nothing, and on universal credit. And then I got myself out of it, opened up another shop with my wife next door in the hairdressers, and worked my way back up. And then obviously we had lockdown, and I didn't want to slump back down into that, like, you know. So, and this kind of saved me. Like, I'm not going to lie, like, this streaming saved me. And it, you know, it's such a passion of mine, and I just love creating content, making people laugh, and that's
actually incredible. The fact that you've had that fall from grace and then rebuilt again, and then have been able to sort of stream to save yourself from going back that way.
Yeah, I mean, you know, life is full of lessons, isn't it? Like, you know, there's never,
mate.
Yeah, there's never a what's the word? Like, there's never, like, some people will go, oh, this is the worst thing ever, or like, but actually, when I've got older and realized the way my life works and what have you, it really is like, just be brave, man, and just take it with your stride, because there's lessons with every negative thing that happens. There's lessons, and every door that closes, there's another one that opens. It may not open straight away. Yeah. You might feel lost. I mean, I feel lost so many times, and I have to battle that all the time. But then something else comes up, and it's just I enjoy it. I enjoy the life properly now, because no matter if you've been at rock bottom, you can't. As long as you don't make the same mistakes twice, you can't go back there. You actually you become more braver, and you become like more like doing what you want to do instead of what society thinks you should do, or other people, or do things because that's how you should do it. But actually, it's like, mate, just crack on, enjoy it, just go for it. Like, fuck it.
in my early 20s, mate, I lived in a hostel shelter. I was homeless for 9 months, and I look back now and I think, Jesus, I used to love that hostel shelter. But you know what I mean? That's like 10 years ago, and I was at such a bottom. But it's great when you can look back and say, this is how sort of far I've come from then.
Yeah. And not only that, like, people will look down at that. Like, shallow people can look down at that.
Yeah.
But actually, what they don't realize is that while you're there, you have conversations with people, and you learn from people that are in that experiences, or maybe that have been somewhere that you have not been before, and you learn, you know, from someone else, or you take snippets of those experiences that are people, like, you know, it grounds you down to earth and realizes how quick, once you've been, how quick it can turn. Yeah. Especially for me, from going up the top where I was at the top, and then back down to where I am now. And it all boils down to believe in yourself, work bloody hard, and don't listen to anyone, because if anyone has haters, it's bloody me, I tell you.
Well, I know, actually. We'll get on to that.
We're going to get on to that in a minute. Ooh, you didn't say this was coming up. I wasn't briefed on this, mate.
I've been involved in one of them. No, but
I wasn't briefed in this.
Yeah, I was just going to pop it in there halfway through. Do you still enjoy the racing? Do you still enjoy doing it?
Yeah, absolutely. I wouldn't do it. You know, after everything I've just said to you, I don't do anything in my life anymore that I don't do for myself. Yeah. That's as simple as that. If I one day wake up and go, I'm done with this, I literally won't do it. Yeah. As simple as that. You know,
best way to
because
be.
Obviously I'm 33 now.
Jesus, I'm 31.
33 now, and I think it's got to the point now where it's like, man, just do what you want. Don't care.
Just go with it.
Just do what pleases you. What puts a smile on your face each morning. You know, and as soon as that smile goes, piss off. Yeah. Do something else. You know what I mean? That's the way I'll do it, man.
Yeah. So does your brother still stream as well? Because I know that you did that. It was at the career mode for a while.
Yes, we tried the career mode because I thought it'd be funny with me and my brother doing it. We look alike, except he's got more ginger hair. It didn't really go well. No, he doesn't stream anymore. And the thing is, my brother is very much the opposite of me. And I do feel bad for him at times, because I wouldn't be here without my brother. Yeah. Do you understand? So I wouldn't be in the position I am right now with all the lessons he's taught me with the PC stuff and the streaming, and helped me on times that when my PC breaks, and he's come and helped me, and he's helped me loads, man, massively. But the problem is that I always seem to do things better than he does eventually.
I said that to my brother.
He's like so clever. He's really good at stuff I can't do, man. He's brilliant. And I think when it comes to the streaming, when it obviously, I just come in and just boof.
Yeah,
I'm here.
Yeah.
And he's just, and he, you know,
It's great at family dinners.
Might be a bit envious or something like that. I don't know, but you know, he's very. I wouldn't be here without my brother. As simple as that, you know.
And the Alpine content creator, how did that come about? Because that's a pretty big deal.
It is a huge deal, especially for someone like me, because Alpine have got Tom and Anna as well, and they took a gamble on me because one, controversial, two, very much out there, and three, the following. Although the following was going really well, you know, you compare that to Anna and Tom, it's nowhere near their following and their viewers. But they wanted to support an up and coming, and I positioned myself, a different stage up and coming, you know. So, but also they wanted to add a bit of something different, and obviously I'm very much different.
You think?
Yeah, I mean, there's loads of times that, you know, I've learned a lot while I've been there. I've learned so much while I've been there. Like, there's certain etiquettes that, you know, to push on to the next level that I've learned from them, and they've really supported me in that. Like, they're always on the edge of the phone, like always talking to him almost every day, and just like giving me tips and tricks on how to be and stuff, because I'm quite an emotional guy, and there's been moments where I get a bit too hot-headed. And I have to look at the bigger picture.
I've not seen them once.
No, you won't, because they get taken down. They get taken down.
I was wondering why you weren't allowed to go live.
But no, the lessons, you know, I've been with them 6 months, and as a streamer, if you want to make it, and how I managed to do this with Alpine is, one, obviously, I streamed every day. I dedicated myself. But I also started a business LinkedIn page. I had all of the TikToks, Instagrams, and I just bombed it, man. 6 TikToks a day on all platforms as well. Instagrams, YouTubes, and I had a LinkedIn. LinkedIn account. And my first was I got signed by Forsake. I don't know if you remember that. I got signed by Forsake as a content creator, right? And he introduced me, and we went to a few events and stuff. I met Alpine and Matt, and Matt Bincliffe, who is kind of my boss, Alpine. I met him and just got on with him there, and just made sure then from that connection, I pursued that connection. So I was always like, you know, whenever they were at an event, I'd make sure I was at that event. You know, and they would see a different side to me. So they wouldn't just see the paddy pat, you know, they would see that professional side of me as well. Because you've got to remember, behind closed doors, or, you know, as a business owner, I'm very well suited all the time. And I think when they saw that, they were like, wow, he is different.
It's not just the cupboard under the stairs paddy pat. It's
not. No. I mean, I'm, you know, completely natural all the time. But like when I need to be business minded, I am. And that's what was very crucial into securing a contract with them, I guess. Not only with the growth, they noticed the growth of me was just going crazy, which is amazing.
I noticed that.
And then obviously I had my LinkedIn account. Now this was really important that I had my LinkedIn account, because this was the business side of things, you know. And a lot of people think that streaming, you know, is going to earn you know, if you become good, you're going to earn loads from it, but it doesn't. It's all about your brand activations and your networking. And you can't be a streamer without your networking ability. It just doesn't happen. So, you know, you can be a stream and, you know, be funny, but if you want to keep progressing, you need to have that business networking quality about you, and sell yourself in the business world, because that's what it's about, you know? And that's what happened. And then I had an inkling. I got told 8 months, I think 6 months before it came out, that I was getting signed by Alpine, and I had to keep it hush hush. And that was difficult, because it just kept going on and on. And then it was like January, then it was like February, and I'm like, ah!
I just want to tell everybody.
It was, and then it kind of affected my relationship with the Creator Series. Oh, shush.
So, obviously, you still create all your own content as well, Patty.
Yeah.
You put a lot of content out there as well. Like you said, that's what you need to do. You need to sort of flood it. Is that time consuming for you to do that?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean,
straight up, yes.
I don't post much, and it does my head in.
So I always try and think of I have an ability to always try and create shortcuts to make things easier. Like, because I'm like, with my ADHD, I'm always like thinking ahead or trying to think of different ways. And, I've got a way for like, if I think I'm in a stream and I think, oh, that was a good bit of content that will do well for TikTok. I've got it attached to my Stream Deck where I just press a button and it will save the last 30 seconds. So then when I go on to my clips, it will be all there. And then what I do is then I transfer the clips to my cross clip, is it?
Yeah.
Cross clip, and then I download that to my phone, and then I've got a captions app. Put it onto captions, and then from captions, and then I put it up to TikTok and Instagram and stuff like that. But yeah, I think each video in total takes about 20 minutes. And it's not even that,
yeah.
And it's not anything special. Like, my editing skills are rubbish, absolute rubbish.
Mine is shit, honestly.
They're dead,
like, I'm just trying to copy everybody else's. Like,
yeah, for me, it's as long as it's got the captions, it's funny, and same hashtags. Just get the content out there. That's kind of what I do.
Yeah, Patty. Obviously, we've talked about the streams and all that shite, but it's yeah, all that shite. Now on to the main bit, the juicy gossip bit.
Is this the stuff that I hang on a minute?
I'm joking.
Nah, you're all right. That's all right. Go for it.
I actually don't know what Formula One team you support.
Alpine.
No, but before you've got to say that before the Alpine.
If you know, you know. To be fair, look, before, I mean, I've been a Formula One fan since 2005. The year that the young Alonso beat Michael Schumacher, it was great. And I got hooked from then. And from 2007 onwards, I've been to pretty much every Silverstone Grand Prix. I've been to the Spanish one in 2016. That was a good year. I did Silverstone and Barcelona in the same year, and they were like 2 weeks apart, like 3 weeks apart. It was incredible. Like, I went to Spain and then I come home and I went to Silverstone. It was brilliant. So I was a Lewis Hamilton fan through and through.
Yeah.
All the way through, Lewis Hamilton fan, British, of course. A big fan of Jenson Button as well. I've met Jenson Button. I met Lewis Hamilton in Barcelona. Remember when Lewis Hamilton had like his rapping stage, where he was like wearing medallions all the time, and he was like, and he was trying to get into music. Yeah. That's when I met him, and I swear down, it was so funny because at the time, like, Barcelona, you could do the grid walk. There was no extra ticket or anything. You could go grid. It wasn't that busy, right?
You could, yeah.
So I walked in there and I was like, Lewis Hamilton, and he walks up, and my God, like, it was the first time ever I've seen a Formula One driver close up. Holy moly. They're like jockeys.
Really?
Yeah, I swear. The only thing that's massive about them is their neck. That's it. Wow. Everything else is. I stood next to. I was literally right in front of Lewis with his his medallion was almost as tall as he were. Do you know what I mean? Like, I stood there. I was like, holy moly! Like, there must be like 5'3" or something.
I suppose
like
they've got to be small though, haven't they? Like jockeys, because otherwise it's just extra weight. And
you say that, right? Yeah. I met Esteban Ocon in person. It's absolute carnage, and he's my height. He's 6'2".
Is he? I didn't realise.
I stood next to him. He was 6 foot. He was my height, the biggest guy on the grid, 6'2". God knows how they get him in that car.
No way.
I mean, the pedals must be almost in the front wing.
Was that organised by Alpine?
It was, right. So this was the funny thing about it, actually. Obviously, the creators, me, Tom, and Anna, got invited to the car launch, and I wasn't allowed to post it because I wasn't officially signed then, if you remember. So I wasn't allowed to post anything anything that I was. No, I was, but I just had to say I was a special guest. That was it.
Right.
That was it. Yeah. I'd say I was a special guest. Obviously the England's there, isn't it? I mean, it's not every day you get invited to a car launch just as a special guest, is it?
No.
Do you know, it was,
I think it was,
yeah, it was only, I think it was only 200 or 400 people invited to that specific bit, and then they had the after party, which were like 1,000. It's brilliant. And it was arranged that after the launch, we would the content creators would meet and greet Pierre Gasly and Esteban Ocon but Tom was busy doing the Twitch live. Anna was, I don't know where Anna was. She was having a whale of a time somewhere. I don't know. I was walking around just drinking champagne, eating canapes. I was loving life. I was in the moment. And then I just saw him afterwards on the side there, and it looked like people were just coming up to him, like, and there was cameras and Sky Sports there, and I just kind of, as I did, opportunist moment, went straight in there after he finished with this speaking to this lady, and I just walked straight in there. She said, "Hey, you all right, mate? How you doing? You all right?" He's like, "Hey, you all right?" I said, "Oh, do you mind if you say it's absolute carnage?" He's like, "Why?" And I'm like, "Because it's my saying." He goes, "Oh, okay." And he points at me and goes, "Absolute carnage." And I was like, I was shocked at his height. But what was funny about the whole thing, and you'll see this video on the TikTok, is that his like, I won't say the guys that look after him. What do you call them? Not like they're a bit more than PA. The guys that make sure that no one. I forgot what they call it. The guy that looks after him, like PA. Let's call him PA, right?
Yeah.
He was. You could see his face in between. Like, well, this guy's not meant to be next on the interview. He's looking at me like, and I'm like, yeah.
He snuck in.
And then I went back with Matt, and then luckily I got that content with him. Because it actually didn't happen. The actual meet and greet didn't happen because it was we were running late. So, yeah, I was really lucky.
And I walked up to him and said, "Je m'appelle Patty," as soon as you walked up to him. Oh, this guy speaks French.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
That worked well.
See you later, my man Esteban, and just walked off. I just said, "Nice one, mate."
I just couldn't believe how, after seeing Hamilton was my last vision of someone real close up with a Formula 1 driver, and then standing next to Esteban, I'm like, oh, okay. So if I lose a lot of weight, I can become a Formula 1 driver.
10 years ago, Pi.
Yeah, maybe. I don't think I'd have been fast then either.
No, I'm probably too old to get into go-karts now. I'm way past it. Pat, you said you were a Mercedes fan. What do you think about Abu Dhabi 2021?
Complete farce.
Yeah.
Utter load of shit. I think everyone has understood that. I mean, I like Max Verstappen. I like his attitude. I love him. He's like a young Lewis Hamilton. If you watch Lewis Hamilton 2007, 2008, fighting against Alonso, you know, the way he was, his attitude, it's no different to Max Verstappen. You know, Lewis Hamilton's kind of lost his spark now.
Yeah.
In respect to, you know, what I liked about him, you know. Max Verstappen, I like that spark in him. But, look, that was a screw up, wasn't it?
Well,
and I think the thing is, it was really weird, isn't it, with the rules? Like, what's the point of having rules if the race director can change the rules if it deems fit?
Yeah. Well, this is what I always say to everybody, because I was having this debate, like, must have been 2 weeks ago. I was having this exact debate with somebody, and they said to me, yeah, but Max deserved it. Same as what Berger's saying.
Well, he did. Of course he did. He did deserve it because, of course, he deserved it. That fight all year was fantastic.
Yeah.
He deserved to win it just as much as Lewis Hamilton did, right? But it just didn't go down how it should go down in Formula 1. Yeah. The battle, effectively, Lewis Hamilton won that race.
Yeah.
All right. The last showdown, he won that. He got the strategy. All right. Everything from that last point onwards was a shambles, and that took away the fight.
Yeah, it did.
But I mean, Christ, the way I look at it as well is like, yeah, okay, you can moan and groan, and yeah, it didn't go as well as you planned, but you all agreed that the race director could change these rules to support the fans. And if you had a good enough car and good enough, they wouldn't have been fighting on the last race of the last championship, would they? So,
yeah,
do you know what I mean? So you know, if you're going to win it, you've got to win it.
The way I see it is, if you go down to the last, you know, race of the season, they're dead on points, and the safety car comes out, and the rule is you either let all the back markers through, let them catch up, or you give them a lap to go round, and if they don't catch up, you restart the race, or you finish under the safety car. They can't let the 5 drivers in between Max and Lewis and say, use 5, go, and as soon as you go, we're going to start the race for the last lap. It was crazy.
Yeah, to be fair, mate, I am actually bored of it.
Yeah.
I'm bored of it. Next question.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. I don't think everyone wants to be listening to that shit over and over again. I mean, we've talked about it now for nearly 2 years, and it is what it is.
I know.
It is what it is. Max Verstappen's time to shine, and he's doing a good bloody job at it. So
he is. He is a great world champion. I'd say Max is probably one of the best drivers ever.
Yeah, man. I reckon as long as he stays in a world championship car, I think he's always going to be fighting.
Yeah.
For facts, as simple as that. He has the ability that Lewis Hamilton has.
Yeah.
You know, back when he was younger, he has that ability. He's a young and up and coming. I say up and coming. He's basically a young Lewis Hamilton. The attitude,
though, hasn't he?
Yeah, I mean, what was he in Toro Rosso, wasn't he?
Yeah. Not for long.
It was a PR. It was USA. Hey, Banana says it was a PR stunt. Let's not go back to it.
Right.
Not doing
That's it. Patty, you said about your wife supporting you. How much does that help you?
Oh, like when I was saying about my brother helping me with all this stuff, like you've got to remember, I'm a 33-year-old man. I'm a husband, a father of 2. And, this takes up a lot of my time. And, when you have a family to support and you choose to go down this route, to have your wife there to fully support you, you need that, especially for someone like me. Obviously, when you're younger, you don't have anyone to answer to. Not like I have anything to answer to my wife, but
you've always got to answer.
I do.
Yeah.
No, so I just wore this top today. Because it's a top that my wife got me. It's a picture of her on it. Isn't she beautiful? But no, it's I just wanted to make it, a bit of appreciation, really, because behind, like all these people say, behind a man that's trying to be successful is even more supportive woman, isn't there? So wow, like flipping out, like I first started streaming. I was streaming till 3 o'clock in the morning because I just felt like I had to stream all the time, you do, and editing and stuff. And not only that, like when you're talking all the time and you're on stream, when you come off stream, you find it very difficult to talk, and you're not really good with the small talk. So when it comes on to our relationship, we had to really speak and get over some hurdles to make sure that I give her some time to talk to me and I talk back, because at the time I was so my wife knows me through and through, and when I get fixated on something, there's nothing stopping me. I get so focused, but the problem with that is when I get so focused and I'm driven like that, I forget about everything else, and everything else is not important. But it is an ability that you need to get to where you need to be. So those sacrifices that that I've made because of I'm just focused has had an effect on the wife. But because she's so amazing and supportive, that's what makes it brilliant, is the fact that she understands me, she knows me, and she knows that this put a smile on my face. She sees the passion, she sees me enjoying it. But no, it did put at the start. I did put a bit of stress on it, but then you've got to adapt, haven't you? Adapt and come over it. So my wife is like the rock behind this.
you sort of need it as well, though, don't you? Because
I do. Yeah, I need bringing back a lot. I'm like I say, I'm a very outgoing, outspoken guy and can get pretty damn hot-headed. And my wife, numerous of times, and still does to this day, brings me back. Brings me back, makes me think of the bigger picture, which is a little bit what Alpine do with me as well. My wife does as well. Think of the future, what it can affect. Which I sometimes, when I get so, I just there and then, and I get myself in trouble a little bit. But there you go.
Well, I have seen a couple.
We can't all be perfect, right?
Hot-headed situations. I've seen you and a couple of drivers have a few rows and stuff. It's I think I seen a video posted on TikTok the other week, and obviously I was commenting on it, and then you were commenting on it, and it's great, the F1 community, because everybody's so lively.
Well, that's one of the things that it's one of the. It is, but it's one of the things that I am not allowed to talk about.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. I am genuinely not allowed
Yeah, it's so
I've
you've
got
got
to, I've got to bury that one.
yeah,
Although it absolutely frustrates me to the absolute max, and there's
yeah.
so much that I want to say and put out there.
You've got
But
to
in the
sort of
professional world of
yeah.
being a content creator for a Formula One team, as I've learned, there is things that I've just got to let go and let them do what they've got to do. But the reality is very much different than what gets getting portrayed. That's for sure.
Well, I
But
know
if
that.
anyone's used to
Yeah.
having some hate cults on me, it's definitely me, and I'm used to it now. And that's another thing, you've got to be hard-skinned.
Oh God, that would piss me off, Patty. It would piss me off
It
having
is,
to hold back so much.
yeah, and that's something that I've had to just get rid of because, although, when people love that about me, this is why I was growing so quick, is that they loved the way that I was just so open and what have you. But what Alpine are doing is they're teaching me to be that open guy, but also think of the damages that can be done on other aspects of things if you want to go on to the next stage on keep going up that way. And sometimes I question it. So, but at the end of the day, you're not going to argue with the Formula One team. You're going to trust them, and you follow through with it, and you work. And to be honest, I feel like it's helped in the way I approach myself. But I do get scared sometimes that I've gone a bit boring. But yeah,
because you've got the thing is, if you get yourself into them sticky situations that we all get in, because when you're motorsport racing, even online, people are so hot-headed, determined. The rivalries that go on as well, and when you get into them sticky situations, then you've got to remember that the Alpine name is now attached to yours as well, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. But to be fair, they don't really mind that. They don't mind that side of things. It's more of the things that can follow afterwards, that messages and things that I say. That gets you in bother. But the initial emotion reaction, I mean, Christ, look at the Formula One drivers, the things that they say as well, that gets beeped out. At the end of the day, we're all human and we're all emotional people, especially when you put everything into league racing. And I try to take it seriously. And those sort of things they're not too bothered about, as long as I'm, not doing the obvious big no-nos.
Well, you're still building on TikTok, Patty. You're still growing. Just a last question. Obviously TikTok is so hard at the moment. Do you struggle to stay motivated if it's not, if the numbers aren't the same as they always have been?
No.
Is it just
quick tip? This is a quick tip. Ignore. Practice what you preach. I mean, it does go into your mind, but you've got to, as soon as it gets into your mind, you've got to cancel that out straight away, because it's literally about getting that content out there. And so I do get frustrated, and I think I put a post up the other day because it's just mind-blowing. But you've got to remember, I've been doing it for like 2 years now constantly, and it's really difficult to judge what's going on with TikTok, but it doesn't affect my motivation. My motivation is I want to be the biggest streamer in Formula One in the world.
I think you will be.
I want to get there. And I'll just keep pushing until I get there. Maybe I might be 50. Might be one of the oldest streamers. Who knows?
It's the way forward, mate. No, I hope I see that, Patty, and I think I will actually, because I know you as well.
People laughed at me when I said I was going to be signed by a Formula One team, and what was hilarious about it is, I think, to get signed by a Formula One team within a year of starting, I think that's the first time that's ever happened before.
Oh God, yeah, I bet.
So I think that achievement in itself is pretty damn good, and I'm proud of myself about it. And people can say you're cocky, people can say you're obnoxious. It's just confident. I believed that I was going to do it, and I did it, and I worked to get it. But you don't get there without.
Oh, you wasn't handed it. No,
you don't get handed it. And there's been scenarios where I first joined Alpine, and you think you're it because you're Alpine and all this, and all the rubbish that comes with it. But it's not the case. I'm cocky and confident. That's it. That's all. That's because I've one goal, and I don't really care about the haters, because they can hate on you right below you. You can wave down at them while you still grow. Like,
and you can do because you've worked for it, though.
Yeah, and the thing is, when you have a conversation with people that are above you, or higher than you, or like more successful than you, they don't judge you. They don't say all this shit. You know what I mean? So, and that's a big tip for people that want to try it out. Don't worry about it. Keep working hard. You're always going to have some. If you're an expressive guy like me, you're always going to have someone that's not going to be happy with you.
You're always going to have haters.
No, man, I think over the 3 years, I've had a couple of hate cults against me. Like genuine 30, 40 people saying they're going to destroy me. That's it, you're finished. No, we're going to get spread. That's it. And to be fair, like, it did work a little bit. Like, you know, it went through a moment where I was on like 90, between 60 and 120 viewers live. And this happened in a league and boom, like it dropped by 30. Like, wow. You know, it really did. And the hilarious thing is I just kept going, and they all come back.
Yeah, well, they do, because they were watching for a reason in the first place, weren't they?
And to be fair to you, the amount of times I'm live now and the guys that don't like me, you go exclamation mark, put in, they're there watching the stream. You're like... it's the way it goes. But I enjoy it. I will continue to keep striving and working towards more goals.
Well, it's like this now, Patty. Like, you're an Alpine esports creator. You're big on the TikTok scene. You're huge in the F1 community, because we all know there's an F1 community that you sort of, like you said, you've got to navigate through. And you're still here for the F7 podcast with me. You know, you didn't have to do it. And I appreciate that as well, you know, taking the time out to come and join. And hopefully we can do a few more episodes and sort of get a few people in and sort of relax a bit more and do a few more podcasts.
Yeah, man, I look forward to that. I think podcasts are pretty cool. Like, we have a bit of laugh and it's a little bit more relaxed. And obviously when you're streaming, you're all about the game, aren't you? And having a laugh. But, you know, if people want to have questions, you want to get them ready for next time. I've enjoyed it.
Yeah, I've enjoyed it as well. Obviously, I'm quite nervous because it's the first one I've ever done. It's the first ever. So, obviously, there's a few things I need to work on in terms of our side. But, yeah, I think it went well. I'm just ashamed that Ben couldn't be here as well. Couldn't hear a thing he was saying.
Well, he's too fast to be in here anyway.
Leave him with the silver drivers.
If he came on, I would have been nervous. I mean, two-time world champion here.
Soon to be 3. He's leading the championship. No, but Patty, I'm so grateful for coming on and doing the podcast. And
I mean, next week you've got Andy Moore in next week.
Andy Moore, TikTok Verstappen. Yeah, that should be fun. He's a good lad, Andy.
I tell you what, that guy. I spent a couple of years with him each year at Silverstone. He's such a nice, great guy, but he's an individual. He's his own man. He's his own individual, and he is unique, and he's good at what he does.
He is. Did he tell you to look into his eyes?
No, why?
Because he's got a video on his TikTok where he says the don't fall in love with me challenge. Look into my eyes.
Imagine I've done stuff like that on TikTok. And we get about 1 view.
So I'm going to say to him when he comes on, I'll say, look into my eyes, to Andy Moore.
It'd be fun. It'd be fun with Andy.
I mean, if you've got time, actually, Patty, you could always jump in and we could all jump on together. It'd be great.
It's up to you, mate, but you know what I'm like. I talk a lot and I don't want to overcrowd it. Yeah. But yeah, no, whatever you want. It would be a laugh, wouldn't it? But I'm happy to do whatever you want. I've enjoyed this, guys. I hope everyone that's watched has enjoyed it as well. Maybe we can get some questions before we cut off anyone in the chat that wants any questions for me. Maybe
there was a few questions. People were messaging saying, "Can I ask a question?" So...
Yeah, I mean that's not a bad shout.
1 second. I should have really gone into the chat and asked.
But that's it. This is as we do for.
I'll learn for next time, mate.
Yeah, lovely.
1 second. Yeah, I've not got any in the chat. They were asking if they could ask a question, and obviously I wasn't looking at it. Oliver said, "Can he ask a question?" Oliver, what's your question, mate? I'll see what he asked. He's a good lad, Oliver. You've probably raced with him before. He's called
I met
Hamilton
him at
Lewis.
Silverstone.
Oh,
I met
did
him
you?
at Silverstone.
Good
Yeah,
lad,
I
isn't he?
waited for him. He was like so desperate to meet me. I wanted to go back to my campsite and start getting on the piss, and I'm sitting there waiting for him because like, I'm coming. And obviously the signal at Silverstone's terrible, and he's like trying to ring me on Instagram. I'm like, mate, I'm sitting here behind here. He finally met me.
Yeah. I think that is your wife in the chat. Barry says, "Hot tub or no?"
Maybe later. Yeah. Paddy Pat merch coming back. Yeah. So obviously we've got this Tuatara Championship with Tuatara. They do all the sim racing stuff, but they also own a company called Premium Merchandise. And I'm going over there at the end of next month to meet Tuatara and talk about a deal with them for next year, hopefully. They sound very keen to do so, where we're going to have some bespoke Paddy Pat merch eventually. Esports, Paddy Pat's tops, caps, hoodies with slogans like it's absolute carnage on it and stuff like that. So yeah, Paddy Pat merch will be coming next year for sure.
That sounds amazing. One of Oliver's questions was also about the merch as well. So that you said you were going over there to Tuatara to meet them. Where are they based?
The Netherlands. So
Jesus.
we're going over there end of October.
Oliver says, "Is Mercedes esports in sight for you, Patty?" I don't know.
No. The thing is, like, you know, I've got to say, like, when you look at all the esports and the content creators, you know, I've looked at what they all create and what have you, and I've got to say, look at it. I mean, Alpine, look what they do to their content. Like, look at the opportunities that I have had as a content creator, the events that we go to, you know, how they support us in all sorts of different things. And, you know, I don't want to be rude to other Formula One teams, but I feel like they're a little bit behind and they're only now just realizing the power of what content creators can do. And I think Alpine are definitely on the forefront of it. And I'm not just saying that to be biased. It's there to see. Like, when you see all the other Formula One teams, it's like they're only now trying to catch up, whereas you look at all the other, I mean, Anna's just been at the GP Explorer thing or whatever it's called in France. Like, do you know what I mean? Tom was live doing on Twitch doing the car launch, and it had like 30,000 people watching it live. Like, wow. So, you know, the power of the content creator is really is quite powerful, and I think these Formula One are actually seeing this, and I think Alpine are definitely on the forefront of it. So,
and the thing is, everything's moving online. It has been doing for the past 10, 15 years. And the esports sort of thing is so huge now as well. So it's massive to be so early on in that F1 esports world. I just
wish I started this 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, that's what I wish. But you can't, it is what it is. But yeah, I mean, I just wish I was quick enough. I'm just so slow. And I think what it is, everyone says I'm slow, but like, you know, like, I mean, if B-Right was with us right now, he would say, like, you know, I know a lot of people that want to be esports stars. I know the guys at Alpine, they put 10 hours a day on practicing one track, like, and they'll repeat a corner just to get it right on exactly when to change gear, to exactly when to be. It's just so minute, and like different parts of the curve will make you spin, different parts won't, and it's like hitting that curve at the right time. It's like it's incredible what they do. It's just ridiculous. And I don't think I'm an entertainer. I've always been an entertainer. I don't think I could dedicate myself to this Formula One game 9 hours a day practice. Like, so
to sit there for that long and practice over and over again.
I won't be able to do it. I'm an entertainer. I've got a race as well as look at the stream, look at the chat, have a laugh. You know, that's why I'm slow. I could be the fastest ever, but you know, I choose not to be.
yeah, it's choice. It's choice, guys. That was my excuse, Patty.
So that again. Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
it's my choice.
That's why you went to commentating, wasn't it?
I'm going to 7 days a week from next week.
That's the way to do it. I told you.
Mate, I'm telling
anyone
you.
that's starting off streaming, getting to 7 leagues, 7 days a week, stream it, go like crazy. Make sure that the only condition is that they watch. Boom, you're affiliated within a month, mate. Easy.
B-Right wanted me to tell you as well, he's just got a Fanatec sim rig as well, because he races on controller.
Does he?
Yeah.
That's brilliant.
Yeah,
finally, B-Right. This will be his last championship then, because I tell you now, going over to a wheel is a not that I know, but I've seen people do it. I mean, I've gone onto controller for a laugh, and I'm like, wow, this is hard.
Oh God!
But I've seen so many people in the chat that have given up the wheel because they're that slow.
Yeah.
But
I tried it. I was a second below my time, and I was practicing week after week. I was still a second slower than I was on controller.
How do you become the GOAT? Don't give a fuck about anything. Concentrate on yourself, work hard, and be the top G. That's it. Just go for it.
The top G.
Go for it.
Nathan and Patty on comments to Tuatara. I'm just waiting for my invite. I think he sent it out, but it got lost in the post.
We can't afford you. Last time you were costing us 200 quid, so can't afford you now.
I'm free. I'll do it for free. Nice one for joining us, Paddy. I really, really hope that we do another episode, mate. But thank you so much.
Brilliant. Thank you for having me, mate. Really enjoyed it. Hope